Hey everybody, it's Allie from Padfoot Palms, Poodles, and Pals. So I want to take a few minutes and try and talk about something that really nobody talks about. And I'm going to try very hard to get through this video without crying. So just bear with me. So, as many people and breeders know, sometimes to get a really great quality puppy, you have to be willing to go on a waiting list. You have to be willing to kind of roll the dice to wait on a puppy. And this has definitely been the case for us. As many of you know, we are starting out in our service dog program with standard poodles, and I have had to get on quite a few waiting lists to get puppies. We have been extremely fortunate through all of our dealings that we have done a lot of research and really communicated with the breeders, and we have really found some breeders that are phenomenal. It doesn't matter how phenomenal a breeder is, they can't control everything. Sometimes there are things that are outside of our control as humans, right? So this is the number one reason why I don't announce puppies that we are getting and adding to our program until we actually have them in hand. We were actually all set to get a puppy this Saturday, and I just received a notification not even an hour ago from the breeder that something happened. And as a breeder myself, I know that you don't ever want to make that phone call. You don't ever want to send that message. You don't ever want to have to tell somebody that their new family member that they were so excited about so this is one of those heartbreaking things that is extremely difficult to deal with, both as a breeder and as a buyer. And one of the reasons why I wanted to make this video is because I'm not the only person this has happened to, right? Accidents happen, things happen. You know, like I said, breeders cannot control everything in life, right? So I wanted to make this video to encourage buyers that if you ever get that phone call, if you ever get that message that something has happened to a puppy that you've been waiting for, I just want to tell all of you to be kind. Reach into the very depths of your heart and be kind to that breeder, because they don't want to make that phone call. They don't want to break your heart. They don't want to upset your kids or your spouse, right? That's not their goal. So please, please, please have a heart. Be kind to them. Show compassion. And of course, you're going to be hurt. You're going to be upset. You know, we all love our dogs very much. And I think that, you know, it's okay to express that you're upset. But just try to remember that breeders are people too, and that they knew that puppy from the moment that the puppy was born, right? They have a bond with the puppy that, unless you're a breeder, there's no way you could understand. It's very deep. It's very loving and intense, and just try to keep that in mind when you're talking to them about what happened. Listen to them. Let them explain or tell you what it is that they're going to be doing. Hopefully you will have a really phenomenal breeder like we do, who, you know, will explain everything and, you know, keep you updated and, you know, refund your deposit if that's how you feel would be the best course of action, or move you to the next litter if that's what you want to do. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just let them talk, let them explain, and just be there in the moment and be supportive. And I know that's a big ask, right? Because you're hurting too. I mean, Suze and I had already picked out a name. I had already created little graphics to do the announcements on my breeder page. So we were talking about what color collar to get for her. Like, we, you know, we were very excited. And that's hard. It's hard. But this is one of those tough things. When you are raising living beings, sometimes things happen. You know, you hear about all the time that, you know, breeders have issues with parvo, they have issues with, you know, other diseases. It can be things that are completely unexplained, like in one of our last Pomeranian litters with little Troy. I mean, she got sick overnight and we were rushing her to the ER and we had no idea what happened. The vet was just like, well, we think it's bacterial, we think it's viral, we think it's this, we think it's that. And we did every test under the sun. You know, thankfully, she was a little trooper, you know, and she pulled through. But sometimes you don't get that lucky. Sometimes you don't get that lucky. So I know that the breeder having to contact me to tell me about my puppy was very hard for her. And I appreciate all of her kind words. And I appreciate that, she had the courage to tell me what happened. Even though we don't know, the specifics, right? Because like I said, it's just one of those things. As breeders, we can't control everything. I still appreciate that she came to me and she did the best that she could. And all she wanted to do was make it right. If I wanted a refund, if I wanted to move to another litter, like, she's phenomenal. And it can be hard to find a breeder like that, right? Because sometimes they're hurting, they're upset, and, they make rash decisions and say things that they don't mean. So I think it speaks volumes that she contacted me and was very thorough and complete and understanding that we would be hurting. I know that she probably thought we were crazy with how much I was, bugging her for pictures and stuff. Like, I mean, we take this very seriously. These are our furry family members. So, anyway. I just had to collect myself there for a moment. Another reason why I wanted to make this video is because it's not something that breeders talk about. Every now and then, you'll see a post online of someone complaining that something happened to a puppy that they had a deposit on. But it's not something that breeders talk about. And this is one of the reasons why it's so important that if you are a new breeder that's just starting out, that when you take a deposit for a puppy, that you place that deposit to the side. Because you don't know what's going to happen. That puppy could make it to 3 weeks, could make it to 5 weeks, could make it to 8 weeks, could make it to almost 9 weeks. And then something happens. And you need to be in a position where if the buyer is upset, that you can offer them a refund. You need to be in a position where that money is set to the side and you haven't touched it. Because if there's an emergency vet bill or something like that, right, you need to have money set aside so that you can deal with those things. So the reason why I mention that is because I had spoken in a previous video about bad experiences that people have with breeders, and they try to get their money back, and the breeder, basically falls back on the non-refundable deposit garbage and, tries to push back. And then come to find out, the reason why they're doing that is because they already spent the deposit. And that's not a smart business practice. So if you are new to breeding, or you're researching breeding, you're considering breeding, you need to factor in that any deposit that you take, whether you list it as refundable, non-refundable, application fee, holding fee, whatever you want to call it, whatever it says in your contract, right? You need to have it set aside, because there are going to be times that something unexpected happens and you need to be able to offer that refund because it's the right thing to do. And if you make the right choice, if you are a breeder who, lets buyers know that that's the kind of integrity that you have, that, hey, I know you signed this contract that says this is non-refundable, but we had this thing that happened that no one could have anticipated, that no one could have prevented, and I would like to offer you a refund of your deposit. That speaks volumes to a buyer. And they will absolutely be back. They will be back. They will tell their friends about you. I cannot even tell you how many times I have refunded deposits to have people come back and say, hey, you remember when I told you that I needed my deposit back because I had to rush my kid to the ER? Well, he's doing a lot better now, and we want to get on your list for your next litter. Right? I mean, that kind of thing happens. So, anyway, those were the reasons why I wanted to make this video. Because I really feel like it's important to talk about the things that we as breeders don't talk about because it's hard. Because it hurts. It hurts us. It hurts families, right? Because we all love dogs. So, if you're scrolling through Facebook and you see that a breeder has posted that they lost a puppy, that something happened, that they didn't make it, just drop them a little heart, give them a like, write a comment, right? Just be kind. Because it's hard. It's hard. It's hard to be the one who has to deliver that kind of news, just like it's hard to be the person on the other end, right? So, anyway, I hope that this video was helpful to someone. If it was helpful to you, leave me a like down there. I hope that it was helpful. So, we will take this in stride, just like everything else in life. And we'll just keep on going. So, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for taking the time to watch the video to the end. And we'll see you in the next video. Everybody just hug your dog for me. That's what I'm about to go do.